Yesterday, I sat down with the mayor. I talked to him about who's responsible for the subways. Of course, you know, he's blaming the governor's blaming the mayor. Who's going to pay for it? The mayor has an idea about a 1% basically tax on so-called millionaires. And Albany is saying they're not that interested in it. They're thinking about congestion pricing. But we also talked a little bit about allegations of pay-to-play when you're dealing with the mayor and re-electing him and the people who contribute to his campaign. And he talked about some of these rules and regulations. Okay, let's talk about the emails that were recently released from your organization. Some of them, a lot of people say, reporters are looking into them very, very closely and say, there looks like, on the surface, a pay-for-play scenario that happens in City Hall. Some of the emails, for example, with NY Class, basically, you were there for us all along, we were there for you. To tell this now, after we just spent $500K, is totally ridiculous, puts us in an impossible situation. We are very upset.
Right.
Do they have access? Do people who volunteer, who give you money for your campaigns, do they have special access and favor with you?
No, and I'll tell you why. This whole notion is wrong. The portrayal of it is wrong.
In what way?
Because it ignores the outcome, which is the thing that people care about the most. How are the decisions made? Are they made fairly? Is someone who you have a relationship with going to get their point across, but also someone you don't have a relationship with going to get their point across, and you're going to weigh them fairly? And the answer is yes. There's a particular group that didn't like the outcome of something. We did what we thought was right. And if they didn't like the outcome, it didn't matter how much money they gave or where they were politically. And there's a lot of the other situations where emails have been released. Well, first of all, the emails were requested and they were released. That shows there's transparency. The folks
but it took some time to get those emails. Sure,
but there's a process with anything like that, and there's a law that says here's how you ask for emails, and it has to go through a process, and then you get them, and here they are. And all the folks who donated money, that's public record. So look at what they say. People are complaining a lot of times that they didn't get something they want. I think that shows that we're actually making decisions based on the merits.
So will you be doing things differently this time around? You're running for re-election. The people who donate to your campaign, will they have that special email to, you know, try to get in touch with you?
This is what's the fallacy here. There's no special email, meaning I have people who I know all over the city, community activists, civic leaders, business leaders, elected officials, labor leaders. They all have my email, they all have my phone, people I've known for years and years, and they'll call me and they'll make their case and I'll listen. But I'll make my decisions based on what I think is right.
But maybe these people who think that they're giving and donating to your campaign feel like they will have a special relationship with you.
Is this about their feelings, or is this about how government actually works? I don't care what their feelings are, with all due respect to them, because I'll tell them to their faces, you should be supporting me if you think I'm doing a good job and if you agree with what I'm trying to do. If you don't support me. I'm fine with that.
Let's talk about the next 4 years. The last 4, you came in on universal pre-K.
Yes.
You accomplished that. What are your goals for the next 4 years if you're reelected?
Rosanna, I got to tell you, and pre-K has been, I'm so proud of it. It's been such a big success. And it's for everyone. It's for people of all backgrounds, all incomes, all neighborhoods, and it's really worked. 70,000 kids now each year getting full-day pre-K for free. The next step is 3K, 3-year-olds. Because you know what's happening with so many families. People are working longer hours than ever. A lot of 2-income families, a lot of people who need help with their kids, a good, safe place to be. And also we want kids to learn earlier because we know that that's when they can grow intellectually and be ready for the future. So we want to do the same thing we do with pre-K for 3-year-olds, and I want to build that out over the next 4 years. That's one piece. And then when it comes to policing, look, we've had extraordinary success. 4 years in a row, crime going down. I'm very, very proud of that. Relationship between police and community is really starting to improve because of the neighborhood policing strategy that Commissioner O'Neill was really the architect of. I want to get even better. We have actually the lowest number of complaints from community members against police in 15 years. I want that to go down even more. I want us to get even safer.
By the way, the mayor did give a shout out to Ray Kelly, former police commissioner.
And, oh, yeah? What did he say?
Well, he said that they started the ball rolling on crime going down in New York City. We're also going to talk to the mayor about charter schools. You know, they are wildly successful and popular around here. He doesn't have the best relationship with some of them, especially Ava Moskowitz and her charter school organization. Wait till you hear what he says about giving them a little space in some of the public schools.
Okay, and on that whole pay-for-play thing, we heard his answer. 2 prosecutors looked into it for a long time, and they chose not to indict. What else? Give us some behind-the-scenes. Did he offer you coffee?
No.
Interesting. How long were you there?
35 minutes.
A cup of coffee wouldn't have hurt.
Yes, and he was on time. Did I tell you he was on time? Because I know you wanted to know.
Well, he does have a reputation. He has a reputation, Roseanne, of being.
He was very much prompt.
Tardy.
Okay.
Well, he was prompt yesterday, Mike.
Okay,
right.
let's see if he makes a habit of it.